Welcome back to Pet Engine. Before we begin, I want you to think about something for a second. Your dog does not know where you go when you leave the house. They do not understand jobs, traffic, errands, or time. All they know is this. One moment, you are there. Your voice, your scent, your footsteps moving through the house. And then suddenly, the door closes, the silence arrives, and the one person their entire world revolves around disappears. Most owners hear their dog cry once after they leave and assume it is just a little sadness. But for some dogs, those moments feel far heavier than we realize. Behind that whine at the door is a nervous system trying to process confusion, attachment, instinct, and fear all at once. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your dog's mind every time you leave, you will never look at those goodbye moments the same way again. Let us talk about what is really happening. The first thing you need to understand is this. Your dog is not being dramatic. Dogs are biologically wired for social connection. Long before domestication, survival depended on staying close to the pack. Separation from the group often meant danger, starvation, or death. That ancient survival system still exists inside modern dogs today. So when you pick up your keys, put on your shoes, or walk toward the door, your dog's brain does not interpret it as a normal daily routine. Part of their nervous system interprets it as social separation from the one being they trust most. That is why many dogs start reacting before you even leave. They follow you from room to room. They stare at your hands while you grab your bag. Some begin panting. Some yawn repeatedly. Some lower their ears or suddenly become hyper-affectionate. These are not random habits. These are early stress signals. Your dog has learned the pattern, and their body is already preparing for your absence before the front door even opens. And then comes the hardest moment for them. The sound of the door closing. For humans, it is just noise. For your dog, it is the exact second their entire environment changes emotionally. The energy in the house shifts instantly. The movement stops. The familiar voice disappears. And suddenly, they are alone with silence and uncertainty. Some dogs run to the window. Some sit directly at the door. Some start pacing through the house searching room after room because part of their brain genuinely believes you might still be there somewhere. Others lie down quietly, but even that quietness can be misunderstood. A silent dog is not always a calm dog. Many dogs freeze emotionally when distressed. They simply wait. Completely still. Listening for any sign that you are coming back. This is why your scent matters so much to them. Your scent is not just familiar. It is emotionally regulating. Research has shown that the smell of a bonded owner activates comfort and security centers in a dog's brain. That old hoodie your dog sleeps on is not just fabric to them. It is reassurance. It is the closest thing they have to your physical presence when you are gone. And then there is the crying itself, the whining, the barking, the howling. Most people think their dog is trying to annoy the neighbors or demand attention. But often, the vocalization is communication driven by stress. Wolves howl to reconnect with distant pack members. Dogs inherited that instinct. Your dog crying after you leave may be their biological attempt to call you back home. Not manipulation. Not stubbornness. Just instinct mixed with attachment. And here is the heartbreaking part most people never realize. Many dogs do not stop feeling anxious after 5 minutes. Studies on separation stress show cortisol, the stress hormone, can remain elevated in dogs for hours after their owner leaves, which means some dogs spend large portions of the day in a state of emotional tension waiting for the sound of your return. That is why destruction sometimes happens. Chewed furniture, torn pillows, scratched doors. Owners often call it bad behavior, but anxiety changes behavior completely. A stressed dog is not making logical decisions. Their nervous system is searching desperately for release, stimulation, or comfort. Even licking paws obsessively or pacing in circles can become coping mechanisms for emotional distress. But here is what changes everything. Your dog does not need dramatic apologies before you leave. They do not need sadness from you. In fact, Emotional goodbyes often make the anxiety worse because you accidentally teach your dog that departures are emotionally intense events. Dogs read energy more than words. If your voice becomes soft and guilty every time you leave, your dog senses that something serious is happening. Calm leadership creates calm dogs. Predictability creates emotional safety. The dogs who handle separation best are usually the ones whose owners made departures and arrivals feel completely normal. No giant farewell. No explosive reunion. Just calm consistency that teaches the nervous system there is nothing to fear. And this brings us to something incredibly important. If your dog cries every time you leave, it does not mean you failed them. In many ways, it means the opposite. It means your dog formed a deep emotional bond with you. You became their safe place, their routine, their comfort, their emotional anchor in a confusing world. The goal is not to remove that bond. The goal is to teach your dog that your absence is temporary and safe. That being alone for a little while does not mean abandonment. Because eventually, something beautiful begins to happen. A secure dog starts learning your patterns. They begin understanding that the front door closing is not the end of connection. It is simply part of the rhythm of life. They stop panicking. They rest more deeply. They wait more peacefully. Not because they love you less, but because they trust you completely. And maybe that is the most emotional truth of all. Every single day, your dog watches you leave without knowing exactly where you go, what happens to you, or when you will return. And yet somehow, despite all of that uncertainty, they still choose to trust that you are coming back. Every single time. That trust is enormous. It is silent. It is invisible to most people. But it is one of the purest forms of loyalty that exists between humans and animals. So the next time your dog follows you to the door with those eyes that seem impossible to ignore, remember this. They are not trying to make you feel guilty. They are simply loving you with a heart that does not understand distance the way humans do. And when you come home, when their tail starts wagging before you even fully step inside, when their entire body lights up at the sight of you, that moment is not just excitement. It is relief. Relief that their person came back. Relief that their world feels complete again. And to your dog, that moment matters more than you will probably ever fully understand.